Physician who's had my license for 40 years and had a very strong biochemistry background. I can say, and seeing what's happening with the X39, I can say without a doubt that this is the most significant medical breakthrough in my lifetime.
Aloha, everybody. Maria Benardis here, and I'm coming to you today with the video that was actually guided by God for me to do, because we're coming to the end of the year, and a lot of people are really questioning what should I be doing during this transition? What should I be doing to contribute to bring the new earth in? What's my purpose? What's my relevance? What's my mission in terms of bringing New Earth forward? And I really have three separate messages today. One is going to be an example of how I found my life's purpose. And I'm going to read an article that I had put together back in 2012, basically outlining, my experience and how it came to me. And really how it came to me was through a lot of meditation and prayer and asking the question. And then, of course, God spoke to me and the answer was revealed. Then I'm going to, as a side note, read a message from the Arcturians, because they certainly have had a lot to say about this lately, because what they're noticing is really a lot of people keeping themselves busy and distracted and really not spending any time to go within and seek what their mission and what their purpose is. And thereby, really what they're doing is delaying the new earth, and really creating for themselves a lot of undue stress and angst, because they're like questioning themselves, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? When really sometimes the answer of what your mission is, or what your purpose is really lies as to where your passion is and what you love and what you enjoy. And you're not going to be on your mission or your purpose until you start actually taking small steps and doing something about it and bringing it into fruition. Whereas if you're just standing back and doing nothing and sitting in the recliner and distracting yourself with controlled opposition, or consuming yourself with your 3D job, then that's not the way to move forward. And what happens, you remain on the fence and you remain stagnant, and you never ever find your happiness and love within and without. And the third thing is going to be an interesting presentation that we had last week. And this was our LifeWave quantum team. We do a lot of amazing Zoom sessions together. They're not just sort of training for our LifeWave partners or introducing the product to our customers, but also, we have book clubs and we do a lot of training, and that is soul training. Why do we do that? Because with LifeWave, and of course my link is flashing on the screen and in the description, we are all about soul selling. So what does that mean? We are here to be of service to humanity, And we have this amazing technology which helps the body self heal. So really, the way that we share it is we share it with our soul. We don't go out there and share it like hard cells, and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. And really, because it's quantum technology at Nikola Tesla base, it's not going to resonate with everybody. So you're going to find a lot of very low vibrational frequency people are not going to resonate with high vibrational quantum technology. Why? Because they're still stuck in the Cabal medical system. So those that are ready on their path to 5D, ready on their path to ascension, really want to heal, in a new and amazing and quick way, will invest, their money for less than a cup of coffee a day and their time in this technology. So that's why we are all about soul selling. Um, because a lot of people are just not ready to heal. Some people just want to be a victim. They love being a victim and talking this story over and over, repeating this story. You know what? It's all about attention. Look at me. Look at me. Attention. So, anyway, getting back to the topic of hand. So, yeah. So, a very interesting presentation that we had earlier on this week, and it's called the Passion Path Process. And I think you will find some really amazing nuggets in that that will also help you kickstart. What is your mission and what is your purpose? And the presenter, of course, is Alex Sabatelli, who is part of our LifeWave Quantum team. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by sharing my screen. So, I'll just pick find the page. And now everybody should be able to see my screen. So what this is an article that I wrote back in July 23rd, 2012. So, so a while back, as you can see. And really what I'm discussing here, I've titled it Awakening to Our Life's Purpose and My Fanuropita, which is actually a beautiful, very quick cake that we make that I discovered back in Mykonos in 2004, where if you bake it, you can make requests to find things, to find your purpose, to find money. It's like almost a manifestation cake, I call it. So I'm going to go through this and it will make a little bit more sense what the Fanuropita is as I read through this. So a lot of this is an extract from my book, My Greek Family Table, that was published in 2009. And you can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and all good bookstores. So again, I wrote this in 2012. I am not a new kid on the block. I have been doing this for over 20 years, as I've said many, many times. And it's not an accident that I was voted the number one health and wellness coach this year, disrupting the medical industry. So I will start reading this, and you can also see it on your screen. So this is a quote from Pythagoras that made an impression on me back in 2004. I was given a choice to remain in the light and not return into the body, or to come back and become a guide to restore for people the knowledge which I perceived in the purity of the great origin of everything. I chose the second because this choice was already made by me as the purpose of my life. Pythagoras. Now, why did I start this blog with this quote? Because this is exactly what happened to me. I made the same decision as Pythagoras to come back and to help as many people ascend, to bring them to the light. So, why does Maria always recommend technology like LifeWave that is light therapy? Because that's what's going to bring you to your light. It's going to put light in your body to help you heal, to heal your mind, reduce the inflammation, so you can also think clearly. This is why very passionate about LifeWave. So I'm going to read this. I was recently interviewed by a journalist from the Tax Practice June 2012 magazine. In this article, I shared stories about my business Greekalicious, my spiritual awakening, and how I found my life's purpose in 2004 in the small church of St. Fenurius, Mykonos in Greece. In 2004, whilst visiting Greece, I questioned my life and asked God, what, what is my life's purpose? I also questioned why I was here, how I could be of service to myself and others. Below is an extract from my book, My Greek Family Table, of my awakening experience. Now, what I want to stress, and I'm not new at this, a lot of people emerged in the last 3 years. As I said, I've been doing this for over 20 years. The important thing that I want to stress, um, passion, purpose, mission are all tied back to being of service to humanity. If your purpose, mission, or passion is not tied back to being of service to humanity, then it's not a real 5D focus mission purpose. And those that are setting purposes and missions and passions that are stuck in 3D in terms of all about me, how is it going to benefit me, are finding that they're miserable with those missions and passions and purposes. Those that are tying it back to 5D, which is of service to humanity, are finding happiness. And as I said, I discovered this back in 2004. So next year it's going to be exactly 20 years. I'm not a new kid on the block here by any means. And I was very blessed that I woke up, as I said, 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, I was awake and I knew what my life's purpose was and my passion. I'm still doing it now. So a lot of people may criticize me. Oh, Maria, you say this, you say that. Oh, you're selling this, you're selling that. Guys, I'm not doing anything that I didn't do before. So, go focus on those people that have emerged in the last 3 years that have become multimillionaires, selling you crappy intel that has all been said over and over again. And please, take those comments to them where it would be more appropriate and ask them the question, what were they doing 20 years ago to help people awaken? What were they doing over 20 years ago to help people heal? So I had to put that in because I am getting some ridiculous comments in my Rumble channel and I am blocking those people. So, an epiphany. So, again, this is out of my Greek family table. In August 2004, I went on a life changing trip to Greece. It was my first visit back there since leaving Psara, which is a little island that I was raised on, just to put it in context, in Greece. While there, I visited Kalamata and many other beautiful islands. However, it was on the island of Mykonos that my life changed forever when I visited the small church of St. Venurius. It was here that my decision to pursue my passion for food was sealed and my destiny was set on a new course. St. Fenurius is a very small church on one of the main winding streets in Mykonos, beautifully whitewashed. It has the Greek flag hanging proudly outside. It had an inviting look about it, and I felt compelled to go in and light a candle. The church was adorned with beautiful icons, painted with vibrant colors, and finished off with gold and silver. In the corner, there were many candles that had been lit that day by people who had passed by. I felt a peace in my soul that I had not experienced before, and the sweet fragrance of the holy basil heightened my sense of tranquility. Suddenly, I experienced an epiphany and saw all that was about to happen in my life pass before me. I realized it was time for me to reinvent my life, and in that church, I saw a new path set out for me to follow. I can only describe the experience as Henry Miller did in The Colossus of Marusi, when he wrote, "Everything he speaks now, as it did centuries ago, of illumination. Here the light penetrates directly. The soul opens the door and windows of the heart, makes one naked exposed, isolated in a metaphysical bliss which makes everything clear without being known." While in the church, I was unaware of which saint the church was dedicated to and what his significance was. I was so caught up in the moment that I did not notice the large icon of Saint Fenurius placed prominently in the middle of the church. I was, however, aware that when I came out of the church, a very important decision had been made in my heart and soul, and I felt empowered and inspired. I could not wait to embark on my new adventure in food. Outside the church was an old man, and I greeted him in Greek. He looked at me intently and then stated that it looked like I had found what I was looking for. I was surprised to hear his words and asked why he had said this. He proceeded to explain that the church was named after Saint Venurius, the patron saint of lost things. People invoke his name in prayers whenever they want to recover lost items or people. Anything that you want to manifest or recover, whether it's money, your mission, your purpose. So obviously I was there for my mission and my purpose. He is commemorated on the 27th of August, the day the icon of him displayed in the church was found. I was fascinated by what the old man told me and interested in hearing more. He shared many stories with me about people who had found good health or located lost loved ones. These touching and beautiful stories were like fairy tales out of a book. I was there for what seemed like hours, discussing my future plans and my life with this complete stranger. He was at the moment the most important person in my life. When we parted, he gave me a small icon of St. Fenouris and wished me well. I will always remember that day. I have since returned to Greece, and of course, I visited St. Fenurius. He has found a special place in my heart and life. I treasure the icon that I was given and have affixed it to my fridge to bless my kitchen and all the friends and family who I welcome into my home. Since this day, my life has never been the same. I am blessed to have found my life's purpose and the true meaning of what it means to love myself and others like agape, the agape way, i.e., the Greek word for unconditional love. When you find your life's purpose, you live a more purposeful and authentic life. You see the world from an agape state where there is no room for judgment of yourself and others, no room for ego, no need to control, no room for fears, and you free yourself of any anger. You attain a total connection of the heart and soul. Your life and decisions are made from a place of agape and driven by your heart, not the mind. You learn to be still more often and you find inner peace. Other people's anger and issues no longer affect you, and you recognize it is their anger and what they are experiencing is their issue. It is their business and not your business. All fears dissolve and you are in a state of joy. You no longer feel lonely because the love you have for yourself and the love that God sends to you is enough. To live the life you meant and the life you long for, you have to be willing to start shake things up a bit. So in other words, to live the life you want, you have to start to shake things up a bit. Face your fear, face your truth, and slowly steady yourself to receive. It's not always an easy road, but it is well worth the minor pain. When you declare your readiness for more joy and commit to the journey, the universe and God will respond in force, delivering the people, events, and things, all that you need to live and contribute your full potential. Be still and listen to your heart's desire, and through meditation and prayer, you will find your life's purpose and live the life you have always dreamed of. Remember the many things that you are thankful and grateful for each day, and this includes the privilege and honor of life. All will manifest at the right time and season. I wish you all well on your journey of self discovery. Enjoy the entire experience, both the waves and the calm. It is all part of our growth and metamorphosis. And this is what's happening to all of us. We're all being given an opportunity to metamorphosize, transform, and become the 5D powerful beings that we are. But many are choosing to do nothing, and those that choose to do nothing and not move forward will, of course, transition to 3D, and we love them and we wish them well. I have included a recipe below of the fanorobida. This traditional pie is dedicated to Saint Fenurius. This sweet cake is traditionally made on the eve of Saint Fenurius. Name date 27th of August. It is brought to the Church of St. Venuris, where the priest blesses it with a special ceremony. After Mass, the sweet cakes are cut and everybody shares pieces with each other. All patrons ask St. Venuris for help. However, before doing so, they must ask for the Saint's mother's sins to be forgiven. The wish for help can be to find anything at all. So, good health, happiness, lost items, lost relatives, peace, money, whatever it is, your life's purpose. The Whanuropata can also be made at other times of the year if someone wishes to ask Saint Venuris to find something, someone, and you can make the cake to ask for guidance on what your life's purpose is as well if you wish. And again, this is on my website, and you'll find it under my blog page. And then, of course, I have the recipe out of my book, which you can get there. So I'll just stop sharing, come back to the screen. So there's a lot of nuggets in there. And assistance of how you can find your life's purpose. And again, very important, a 5D life's purpose and mission always has attached to it, as I said before, to be of service to humanity. It's all about we, not me. So now I'm going to transition into the 9D Arcturian Council by Daniel Scranton. And this is the new earth that's coming. And within this message, we are being urged by the Arcturians to actually start manifesting and creating our own life's purpose and our own missions, and to start getting acting on them, because this is how the way new earth is going to be created. It is not going to be created by sitting on a recliner watching controlled opposition and watching intel. Oh my goodness me, do you know that that intel that people are talking about now, because there's a time delay and a time difference, has actually already happened years ago? It depends on which dimension you're on. So those on 3D think that all this intel is new, but those of us that are on a higher timeline, a higher dimension, have known about this stuff that's happening now years ago. So we are on different timelines here. And I actually find it quite amusing when people think certain things are happening now when they've already actually happened, and we're on different timelines. So this message comes from the Arcturians on the December 22nd, 2023. Greetings. We are the Arcturian Council. We are pleased to connect with all of you. We stand firm in our assessment that all is well there on planet Earth, and that it will continue to get better. Now, of course, there are many parts of Earth, and there are many places on Earth. There are many experiences being held on your planet at this time, and not every single one of them is an example of everything being well. You always will have room for growth. That is true with your spiritual evolution, with your relationships, with your satisfaction in your life. And of course, that ties into the mission and the purpose. There will always be room for growth, for expansion. And so you must have those pockets on earth as well, where there are things that need improving, where there are aspects that are not as beautiful and fully aligned as they could be. But can't you see that all that gives you something to do? Again, it gives you something to do what's happening. It's all happening to ignite in you a mission and a passion and a purpose, and to actually get off our butts and do something about it. It gives you purpose. It gives you purpose, they say. It gives you something to heal. It gives you people to have compassion for. It gives you actions to take. And therefore, again, nothing is really going wrong there on earth, because you all want to have a purpose. It is the question we get asked most in private sessions. What am I doing here? What is my purpose? If you look around at the world and you see something that you want to be the solution to, that gives you a purpose. Even if your solution is meditation, prayer, healing, energy, and good thoughts, that still counts. When there is an oil spill in the ocean, you don't have to get in there and scoop it out with your hands to be of service, to be part of the solution to that ongoing problem that you seem to have there on earth. You get to create a reality where everyone has free energy and no one is relying on fossil fuels anymore, and you get to align with that reality. Again, that gives you something to do besides just lying in a hammock, which is what the majority of the awakened are doing. And it's like, I'm high vibe, I'm high vibe. No, you're not high vibe. No, you're not. You're delusional. Again, that gives you something to do besides just lying in a hammock, enjoying the sound of the birds singing and a cool drink in your hands. And there is nothing wrong with having that experience, by the way, but there is so much more that you get to do and that you get to experience through that which still needs tending to there on earth. So please do not assume that it means humanity is heading in the wrong direction just because you still have more growing to do. You still have more focusing to do as well. You still have more creating to do. And this is what I'm finding. The majority of the awakened community is just not focused. They're putting their focus on the wrong things, on controlled opposition, on controlled intel, waiting for the members, waiting for the RV. Well, I'm telling you what, you'll be waiting for a long time. You still have more healing to do. And it's part of the journey, it's part of the ride, and it's what you wanted. It's why you chose to incarnate there on earth. So, if we were you, we would get excited about how we are going to contribute to the new earth that is being created all the time by those of you who understand that you create and then experience the new world. So, we need to create it. And if we keep sitting on the hammock, nothing's going to happen. And this is just going to get delayed, delayed, and delayed. And then God's going to say, I've had enough with these people. We got to get to 5D. So anybody that's still on the hammock, still not doing anything, you know what? Go 3D. Off you go. And because it's going to be a point where God's going to say, I've had enough. I've had enough. No more waiting. You've had enough time. Stop with the procrastinating. Start with the action. You don't just point fingers and seek to fix through action the old, broken down world. And so we tell you at this time that you can rejoice, you can feel good about where you are because you're awake, you're a part of the awakened collective, and you want a purpose, you want a mission. You want to feel how good you can feel when you align with that reality where there is no more war, there is no more poverty, there is no more famine, there is no more droughts and wildfires, and everyone has what they need to be themselves fully. The reality already exists, and you are there to experience the journey to it. Go forth then and enjoy your journeys. And again, we are the Arcturian Council, and we have enjoyed connecting with you. So the reality already exists for no poverty, for abundance of money, abundance of everything. But people are so caught up with the outside world and bringing down their vibration and the fake intel that they're not tapping into the higher timeline and the higher vibrations to manifest it. So, really, if anybody is still speaking about, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know what my mission is, the important thing is you need to stop with the outside world and distracting yourself, and you need to start taking some of the tips that I've already outlined in my first video of what I did 20 years ago to find my mission and my purpose. And it's only when you start purifying your mind, body, and spirit and start meditating and praying that you will actually find that, because that's when God speaks to you. Whereas before I couldn't hear him. I was on the wrong frequency. I kept asking the same question. But when I started to purify my mind, body, and spirit and started to really listen to God and meditate and not be distracted by the outside world and the fake intel and all of that back then, that's when God spoke to me and showed me a vision of what I needed to do, where I needed to go. So now what will follow is an amazing presentation, as I said, by Alex Sabatelli, who's part of our LifeWave team. We're called the Quantum Team. And she's titled it The Passion Path Process. And this is some of the amazing content you can expect to experience when you join as a partner our LifeWave team, and of course experience this amazing healing technology. And again, you can join as a partner even though you don't want to do the business, but you want to purchase like the silver, gold, and diamond packages where the prices are less than that of a preferred customer. So a preferred customer pays wholesale rates, but if you join as a partner, you get to experience paying for the amazing products for less than the wholesale price. And, expect to receive, extra sleeves as well, complimentary sleeves. Of patches depending on which package you purchase. Again, there's a link in the description where you can find out more. So thank you for watching. God bless you. And now, please enjoy Alex Sabatelli.
Your passion path. And you can align every single area of your life, every role in your life to this. And what will happen is in the process of uncovering this and doing the steps and really being honest about it and taking the time with it, is that it's going to light you up. And you're going to find that not only are you able to align the things that you're currently doing, but the things that are unlike that alignment are going to start to show up, and you're going to start noticing the things that are out of alignment that need to be cleared out of your life in order to make room for that perfect life. This is a beautiful thing to share with any of your significant people in your life that are close to you, that you live close with. And certainly to invite them to do as well in order to kind of put your heads together, especially if you have, a life partner, spouse, what have you, to be able to be vulnerable and share with them what really drives you, what really moves you forward. And what I love about this from a business standpoint, of course, is like we just did this whole soulful selling series and how to uncover what drives people, what their innermost needs are and their desires and their frustrations and what they want in their life. And when you attach something this core, this deep to anybody, it's like you just light them on fire, and people will move mountains for what matters. So that's what I want to just kind of give as a foundation. Is that worth doing? And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And that's not very clear, is it? All right. So it's called the Passion Path Process, as you can see. So I'm just going to read through this a little bit. I don't know if I'll skip around or not, but I just want you to know that if you're just listening in, that this is what this is about. But again, you'll have full access to this, and this will take some time. And I tell you, the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. And you'll totally understand that. And I'll just share, I'll share at the end kind of what happened for me when I did this the very first time. It was pretty phenomenal what happened. And then revisiting 6 months later, it was kind of mind blowing actually what happened. So I'll share that with you after. So this passion path process. So basically misalignment is the root of so many feelings and circumstances that you may be experiencing in your life. Misalignment. I mean, everything that I stand for and everything that I've done in business has always been about helping people to get into their highest potentiality and to be in alignment. So this really is that foundational piece. Sometimes it feels subtle, like boredom or frustration, which can show up often as procrastination or busyness, or reluctance to take the next right action in your life or in your work. And other times it's powerful and even disabling, like emptiness or hopelessness, like sticking in a job you hate because it feels safe, or because you don't trust your own ability to create something more. And clearly these are only a sliver of possibilities, but of course, overall, it's the struggle that seems to best describe what misalignment creates. So to be clear on what excites you, what brings you joy, what your ever-expanding purpose is to define your compass. And this compass is always directing you, whether you're conscious of it or not. And the only way that you know if you're aligned to it and heading in its guiding direction is the way that you feel. So when you feel good, you're in alignment. When you feel not so good, you're in opposition to it. And honestly, guys, you can feel this in the heart. You can feel a contraction in the heart or the solar plexus, like that gut contraction, when you are out of alignment with whatever is in your mind or whatever thoughts that you're holding in that moment or actions that you're taking. When they're out of alignment, you feel contraction in the body. It literally speaks to you. Pay attention to that. When you're in alignment, you feel expansive and open. So always when you feel that contraction, ask yourself, what is it that I'm doing, thinking, saying that is out of alignment with how source is seeing this right now, or how my higher self is seeing this right now, because that is a clear indication right there of misalignment, is that closure feeling. So pay attention to your body. Your body is absolutely a barometer for this. You're always creating, like what you've got or not. It's the truth that you're living what you've called forth for yourself. This passion path process is a profound way for you to get crystal clarity and on purpose. Your awareness of your passion path gives you the way out of reaction and back into alignment, where all that you want and all that you've ever wanted awaits you. So what this process is going to help you do is it's going to help you discover your unique greatness and potential, uncover your true passion and direction, gain clarity and vision of your ideal life, tap into your deepest motivation, align and balance your life and your life work. And these things alone are just the tip of the iceberg, because it actually blesses you in every interaction when you're in alignment, period. Because when you're in alignment with this, you're in alignment with your soul. And that comes and exudes out of your energy and touches everyone else's soul. So it changes relationships as well with everyone and anything in your vicinity. So very, very impactful. You're going to see how living in the clarity of your passion path and creating your own life from this foundational aligned space, you can truly design and live the life of your dreams and create an extraordinary business in the process. And this is the first step for you to step into your sweet spot. Your passion path is about leading a life that's consistent with your innermost desires, your core values, and your beliefs. It's a life that feels right every day, gives you a deeper sense of fulfillment and meaning with every year that passes, and it's a life that you live intentionally rather than randomly. So very important with that, and beautiful to align with your work. In that simple statement lies the key to living a happy and fulfilled life, a life that's meaningful to you, a life in which your business plays a significant role, but far from the only role. It's a life of joy and possibly not the life you're leading now, possibly. Your passion path is your innermost driving force. It's the source of the vitality, the commitment, the vision that you need to get the most out of your life and to create a remarkable business in that process. It is that which, more than anything else, gives you a sense of direction and purpose, motivates you to your highest levels of energy, and sustains you over the long haul. And truly, it is your compass. So through the guidance of your passion path statement, which is what you end up with at the end, and this is not a mission statement, I promise you, but through that guidance, you can eliminate the energy drains of your life, make clear decisions from your most powerful place, feel inspired and energized to take action, create an effortless life. I'm missing a word in there. As you achieve all that you want, and live the abundance of health, love, prosperity, and wholeness that's available right now. All right. So let's go through the process. The elusive passion path. The vast majority of people aren't in touch with their passion path. It's there. It's within all of us, but most of us simply haven't made the conscious discovery yet, at least not yet. We're not creating this thing, guys. It is an uncovering. So is it really that important? Yes. Heck yes. Understanding your passion path gives you the ability to live intentionally rather than accidentally, to shape your life rather than live whatever life happens to you. And in fact, it's the only reason to bother discovering the passion path at all. Otherwise, you can simply live randomly, take your chances, and settle for whatever joy and whatever pain come your way. Your core values, beliefs, desires shape your passion path, but most people don't understand their core values very well, and many have false impressions of their core values. We all have known people who've worked for some high level of achievement only to find out that having reached it, their success is hollow, somehow unsatisfying. And we've also known people whose lives, whether they're successful in the conventional sense or not, experience deep satisfaction and joyful contentment. The difference is that in the first case, success was not consistent with the passion path. And in the second case, the passion path was served. And have you ever heard of that term, midlife crisis? Quarter life crisis? I swear kids are having quarter life crises these days. It seems odd that so many people aren't very aware of their passion path, because we all have a built-in barometer to tell us if we pay attention, when we're in touch with it, and if we touch it in negative or positive ways. And that barometer, like I said before, our feelings, our emotions. And why is this important? Because our emotional barometer can help lead us to our passion path. So now, of course, the dreaded ego, we need to be aware of the ego in uncovering the real passion path. You please beware of your ego as it wants you. Please beware of what your ego wants as you come to understand your passion path. Your passion path is something deeper, more fundamental, more you than money, status, power, competition, possessions, or celebrity, or anything else of the like. While they can be important in your own way or their own way, they're not driving forces in your life. Those are outside, those are external. How do you determine your passion path? Well, there's a process here that we're going to follow to give you a clear understanding of this. And it's intensely, like seriously intensely personal. Some people breeze through it easily. It depends, right? Like I'm a transformation junkie. I do this stuff all the time. I love this stuff. Other people, it's going to be a serious appointment with yourself and maybe even some kind of adaptogens or something to stay nice and calm as you dive in. Some are really challenged and they go through bouts of confusion and self-appraisal before they understand what their passion path is all about. But virtually everyone learns from it. The end result is to create a force for guiding your life and the important elements within your life, among them, of course, your business. This is a business call, but hey, like if you're going to take this all the way, this is a life choice, isn't it? And what about the people you invite in your team and helping them to align to what matters most with them, right? This is community, this is relationship, this is big. So get a little selfish. It's all about you. Your passion path is unique to you. It's about what you truly want for yourself. It's not about the obligations you have to others. It's not about what others expect of you. Think only about yourself and what you want your life to be like. It's difficult for many of us. We're accustomed to putting others first or taking responsibility for them, right? Isn't that what a parent or a boss or a friend does? Well, for the moment, we're going to let go of all these responsibilities and shoulds. Don't should on yourself and indulge yourself and think in terms of your own self-interest. Think in terms of dreams and fantasies and reach for what you want. All right. So how do you know you've got it? When we get to the end of this process, you're going to look for the fire. It takes careful thought to discover your passion path, the one that fits you uniquely, the one that provides a sense of direction and purpose, and the one you feel in your gut. It's easy to come up with something that sounds good or that should be a good passion path, but doesn't really motivate you. It would be a mistake to go through the thinking and the worksheets that are provided here just to arrive at a passion path that just seems okay, but that's not in your heart of hearts. It just doesn't have that fire of your heartfelt purpose in life. So look deeply and honestly into yourself, figure out what you really want from your life, condense it into a brief statement once we go through the steps here, and use it as an internal guiding light as you plan and manage your life, and certainly, of course, your business. So what you can expect from the process is a matter of discovery, not invention. You don't create it. It already exists within you. As I said before, it's a way of discovering what's already there, this process. For most people, the process involves new ways of looking at themselves and their lives, asks you that you question your assumptions about your life and your core values. It requires that you use your feelings, your internal barometer, that emotional guidance to guide you. It's an intensely personal experience, a process that gets you in touch with what's truly and fundamentally important to you. And let me just tell you, actually, I'll tell you when I tell my story. I'll go off on a rabbit trail here. So getting started, let's go through the process now. So you start the passion path process by quickly making lists of what you want and what you do not want in your life. Yes, I know you've heard this before, but trust me, we're going deep. So you're going to be starting with that, and I'll go through each of these steps. Then you are going to apply your thoughts and your feelings to the lists, narrowing them down to the most important do wants and don't wants. Next, you're going to identify what gets in the way of your passion path And finally, you're going to do some writing that results in a brief statement or the essence of your passion path. This process can be intense, like I said, at times, but so rewarding. It's really one of the most valuable things you'll ever do for yourself. And again, every once in a while, every number of years, I will do this again. I don't do it every single year because it's so right on, but every once in a while, when things have shifted for a while or a big life change happens, I like to check in, tweak a little bit, make sure that it's still got that burning fire to it. And, sometimes it's a word here, a word there, but just going through that process again, as we expand and grow, and also expand and grow in consciousness and see how far we've come. Sometimes we things can shift. So it's really something to revisit and hang on to. So again, as you expand and grow each year, so 2 does your passion path from personal experience. In this, I recommend you repeat it, like I said. So to begin, I recommend that you create both the time and the peaceful space to do this work. The questions to stimulate your thinking are most helpful if you take the time to write down your answers. I did this. It's so important to do it. And when you write things out, I'm telling you, when you put pen to paper, you cannot lie on paper. And sometimes these questions will stimulate something and you go to write it down and it's almost hard to write stuff down because you can't lie to yourself in writing. I don't know what it is. Not that I like to lie to myself, but it can be really, really intense. I'm just letting you know sometimes to be really honest with yourself. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it. All right, so the character traits and the values that are listed are also there for you to ponder, as well as to stimulate you to become, or to a better understanding of yourself and what's most meaningful to you and who you wish to become. I suggest you highlight, star, or even rank those character traits and values that evoke the most positive emotion for you. So the questions to stimulate your thinking. So again, this is all in documentation here for you. There's all kinds of stuff just to really kind of warm you up here. Like, what do you want your life to look and feel like? What do you value most? What's important to you? Things like this. What do you daydream about? How do you want your life to feel on a day-to-day basis? Not look, feel, okay? What would you like to be able to say about your life after it's too late to do anything about it? If you no longer had to work, how would you spend your time and with whom? Right? So yeah, lots of honest. What are your greatest strengths? What are your greatest weaknesses? What motivates you to perform above and beyond the call of duty? So there's a number of questions here. So you want to start with that for sure. And then of course, go through this character traits and values list. And again, circle, star, underline, highlight. It's not in the perfect formatting, guys. I'm sorry, it's not, I can see I'm missing a word. N on passion, resourcefulness, the S dropped to the second line, whatever, did my best. Anyways, it's not so bad. I guess it's been a few years since I've updated this, so maybe I'll work on it. Anyways, it's really, really helpful to kind of go through it and really just start and circle those things, highlight those things that really stand out to you, that really resonate with you. And that's going to tell you a lot about yourself as well. So I'm going to go through the process now. Let me take a little sip of my tea, and then I'll go through the actual 5 steps of the process with you. Okay, so while I'm having a sip of my tea, I'm just going to ask if there's anybody here. Let me see, we got a bunch of participants. I'm going to check the chat real fast. If you guys want to chat with me quickly and let me know how you're doing, if you have anything that's coming up for you at the moment. I'd love to make this a little bit interactive. It's not going to take too long for me to get through the process itself. Will we be able to get these questions in a document? Yes, if you look right above here, you'll find a link in the chat box here for a link to this entire process and what I've been reading. Hi, Alana. Thank you. Anybody else? I will keep this chat box open and I'll take a peek at it a little bit later. If you guys have any questions, please definitely go ahead and ask. All right, so we're going to get into the process itself. There's 5 steps. Number 1, what don't you want your life? What don't you want in your life? Okay, we start with the don't wants because most people have no problem complaining about what they don't want. It's usually right there in the forefront. So I want you to make a long list of what you don't want in your life, everything you can think of that causes you anger, stress, frustration, fear, hatred, embarrassment, dissatisfaction, whatever it is that you don't want in your life. Don't think too much about each item. If you have difficulty making a list, you can use the previous questions, again, those stimulating questions to get you thinking. When it's complete, after you've got this list out, just dump it all out, go back over the list, and this time think carefully about each item and be aware of the feelings that each stirs. Okay, circle the items that trigger the strongest negative emotions, those things that you most want not to be a part of your life, those things that really got you. Don't circle more than a few items. Just focus on the most important ones, the ones that really evoke that negative emotion. Again, we're not going to linger here. So don't worry about like, oh, I'm going to manifest this. If I do this, it's okay. We're going to start with the don't wants. Those are the easier ones, but we really want to get to the juicy ones. Okay. Here's a little more on what you don't want. Often it's easier to know what you don't want than what you do want. A good way, of course, to begin is to search. In searching for your passion path is to become clear about these things that you know you don't want, making this list and not stopping writing until you put everything down that you can think of. There's a basic premise at work here. It says that focusing on what you don't want creates more of the same. These things that you know you don't want are probably things you think about frequently. You probably play them over and over in your head, in your mind. And the result is that you're mentally rehearsing them and practicing them and reinforcing them. They become part of your energy field. In sports and music, there's a technique called visualizing. The athlete or musician mentally goes through the right motions in preparation for the actual event. It's been proven to be a powerful technique for improving performance. And the same technique works for improving any other aspect of your life. But the dark side is that your habit of fault finding and focusing on what goes wrong, then your mind stays on that negative. And even though you wish for the positive, you're mentally rehearsing the negative. Again, we just talked about this in the Soulful Selling series. And that energy is literally like pig pen from Peanuts. Like this, it's like if you could see the little cloud of negativity around you as you're approaching somebody, they sense it. It transfers. We don't want this. So all right, so we're told obviously not to think about a pink elephant, but what's the first thing that pops in your mind? Of course, the pink elephant, excuse me. We have to overcome this habit by flipping it, all right? So why do we start this exploration by focusing on the negative? It's simply a way of reaching or discovering what you really do want. Once you have a clear picture of what you don't want, it's a simple process of reversing the items to determine the truest wants. So again, list everything you can think of that causes you anger, stress, frustration, fear, hatred, embarrassment, dissatisfaction, anything you don't want in your life. Don't think too much about it, but exhaust the list, as many as you can think of. And then second step, on a fresh sheet, nice and clean, you can put a little perfume on it if you want. What do you want in your life? Okay, list everything you can think of that you do want. Look at what deepest don't wants that you just did and underlined and really got that feeling for. And what do they tell you about what you do really want? Focus on what makes you happy, fulfilled, satisfied, what gets you energized, motivated, and purposeful. Avoid the superficial and the material and go for the deeply satisfying and profoundly rewarding life experiences. And again, don't think too much about it. Just write as many of those that you can. All right. And as before, you want to go back over the list, circle the items that you most want to be part of your life. This time, circle those items that have the strongest attraction, the strongest positive feelings, but don't circle more than a few items. 1, 2, maybe a half a dozen at most. All right. A little bit more on what you do want. When do you feel most free? What is it that makes you feel most in touch with yourself? What gives you the greatest sense of fulfillment? Everyone has moments of peak experience. What are those moments for you? What do you want your life to stand for? What's really important to you? This is what your passion path is all about. So again, you start by making that list. Think about what you appreciate, what's important to you, the parts of your life you treasure, and that what gives you your deepest sense of satisfaction. If your list fills up with material things, dig deeper. Your passion path isn't about stuff, it's about being alive. So again, as before, list everything you can with what you do want. Look at what your deepest don't wants tell you. Focus on what makes you happy, fulfilled, satisfied, energized, motivated, and on purpose, and avoid the superficial and material. Go for the satisfying, profoundly rewarding life experiences. And again, don't think too much about it. Just write as many as you can. All right. And circle those ones that really have juice for you. The third step is, what are your priorities and what's in your way? Oh, and by the way, the don't want list, by all means, safely, carefully destroy it. You don't want to keep that around. By all means, like, if you have a fireplace, or you can safely burn it and maybe have a little ritual and get rid of that stuff so you're no longer ruminating it and creating it unconsciously, go ahead and safely get rid of that. Anyways, okay, third step. What are your priorities and what's in your way? So now you want to write down those most important items, the ones that you circled, right? Or placed a number in front of, or whatever, if you did it electronically, from that list of what you want in your life. And you're going to write them in order of importance. Think carefully about them, each one, and write down what, if anything, is keeping you from having them. Think especially hard about self-imposed limitations on this. Okay, so again, prioritizing and barrier busting is what we're about here. We're going to copy that circled items list from your do want list onto this new list. As you do, again, think about each item, try to rank them in order of importance. For each one, think about what gets in the way, what blocks you from having those do wants. And finally, and this is important, identify those self-imposed limitations. What barriers you put in your own way with limiting beliefs about yourself and with counterproductive habits, self-sabotaging habits. A little more on what gets in your way. Here's a prediction. As you make that list, you're going to think of some things you're going to be tempted to ignore because, oh, that's not realistic for me. Or who am I to want that? Or that's not something a person like me should want. Or I don't have the ability to, whatever. Do not impose limitations on yourself. For the most part, limitations turn out to be more imaginary than real, and even completely unrealistic wishes, if they're heartfelt, tell you something about your core values that is valuable to know. So don't ignore heartfelt desires simply because they seem impossible, undeserved, embarrassing, inappropriate, or not within your grasp. Dig within yourself for the source of the emotion behind the desire and see where it leads you. More often than not, it's going to lead you to a new source of fulfillment. So again, write down those most important items, the ones you circled, or put a number in front of if you did it electronically, from the list of what you do want in your life. Write them in order of importance, think carefully, and write down what, if anything, is keeping you from having them, especially those self-imposed limitations. All right, that's a big one. The fourth step, and this was so profound for me personally, is to write your own eulogy. So years and years from now, after a happy and fulfilling life, you're given the opportunity to write the eulogy that will be given at your memorial service. Assuming you have the life you want from this point onward, what would your eulogy say about your life? So this process here is to write your eulogy. Think of that day far off when you're gone, and all the people who are most important to you are assembled at a memorial ceremony. And you get to write your own eulogy. What do you want it to say? And what do you want to be remembered for? This piece right here was so freaking profound for me in writing it. And 6 months later, I picked this process up. My entire life had changed. My entire circumstances had changed around my business. And I was literally living what I had written in my eulogy after doing this process in 6 months. And not only that, but I had been asked to train this training, or basically how I went from where I was to where I had gotten in 6 months. Like, how did you do that? And I told them I did this process. And then 6 months later, I knew that it was the very process that gave me permission to shift what I was doing, because what had come into my life after that which was a business like this, came into my life, and I pivoted from what I was doing to align to my passion path. And I soared with it. And then I was asked to train. I'd never trained like I'm training a lot here because I do now, but this is back in 2004, 2004, maybe. And they said, what did you do? And I said, well, I did this process. Well, can you teach on it? I'm like, sure. So I pulled up all of this work that I'd done, and I read my eulogy, and I started bawling because I was literally about to do exactly what I had written on the eulogy. Was affecting all these lives. I was training people. I was helping people to do all these things. And I literally had written it in the eulogy. And 6 months later, I'm like doing it and training on it. And it was so emotional and so amazing of what could happen by doing this. So I really hope that touches you, because it's that profound to do something like this. We are so powerful. I think we don't even realize the divinity behind, how powerful we are as co-creators. It is really amazing. So this process is going to light you up, I promise. All right. I'm getting teary. All right. I got to stay on track. That eulogy is huge. Okay. Fifth step. So all of this work has led to a much deeper understanding of you and what's meaningful to you. So this statement, this is what we're writing, that you're about to create, is a simmering down and a condensing of all this work that you just completed, or when you complete it, of course. Okay, it's to express the essence of what you want your life to be about. It's the acid test for your passion path statement. Or what is that acid test? Is your internal barometer, that emotional guidance. When you write it down, you should feel energy, enthusiasm, commitment, a sense of like, yes, an absolute full body. Yes, this is me. Goosebumps. And if not, you haven't gotten it. This is not a mission statement. I promise you, this is not a mission statement. You want to keep going until it literally lights you up. Okay. So when you write that statement in the fewest possible words, write a statement of the essence of your passion path, and try for a phrase or a single sentence that describes what you want your life to be like, in order for it to express what's most important to you. And just know that it's the work behind it that puts the essence into the statement for you. It's not the statement itself. It's everything that creates the statement. That energy is then infused in that statement that is perfectly unique to you. So just understand, it's not just a bunch of words. It really isn't. Okay, so what's next? So how does your business fit into this picture? That's the process, by the way. Your business is an important vehicle, maybe the most important vehicle through which you can achieve your passion path. If it's to contribute to the life you want, however, your business has to serve your passion path. It can happen in either of two ways. You can choose to develop your business in such a way that it frees you to pursue other interests, right? We know that brand partnership can certainly do that. Or the business could itself be a reflection of the very essence of what's most important to you in life. And so that's important to understand, because again, this is going to motivate you and align you to what you're doing, whichever way it is, or it could be both. Personal note, my business, for instance, total alignment of my passion path. This was my statement last time, to inspire. Well, this was actually a while ago. Because this was in 2019. My statement at the time was to inspire and guide women to gracefully transform their lives to live in their highest awareness, purpose, meaning, and performance. Period. That was it. It's not limited to women now. And it's now even further than this. So I'm actually going to be doing this. Since I'm putting it out here now, I'm doing it in the next few days. At my soul level, it's to restore women to their powerful feminine core. Really, that is really deep for me. So this represents so much more to me than the statement could mean to another. And it truly is my guiding and motivating force. So this is, sorry, I don't need to read through all of this right now here. My foundation for decisions that I make every day, Blessed to have uncovered it. Yes, yes, yes. All right. What really matters is if you've come to the conclusion that the discovery of your passion path is one of the most important things you'll get from mentoring or working with me or listening to me. Sorry, this is part of my coaching stuff. You get the point. So it may seem a little odd that in order to get your life work or your business in shape, you first have to look within yourself, but it's really not odd at all. When all is said and done, the bottom line is you. So the rest of this, I do believe, yeah, it's a little, I'm giving you this document. It is one of my coaching documents from my previous business. So I hope you don't mind that little piece. But the thing that's also really cool at this point is that you can also now use this passion path process to take a look at the different areas of your life and start to set goals and objectives to the different areas of your life.
My experience is 95% of people notice a shift. Now, I didn't say they feel something, but I noticed a shift. So some people, if they have pain, they may notice actually a reduction in pain. Many people talk about it in 15 minutes. Some of the people that you share patches with will be one patch wonders. I say about 10% anecdotally are one patch wonders. You put one patch on them and they feel something different. So it will vary from person to person. So if I'm going to share the patches with them, I set it up to expect, listen, I'm going to share a few days with you, but I really want to see you give this a 30-day trial. And my favorite is a 90-day trial, because most of us, we've lived riotous lives. It might take longer. We know collagen regrows in your body in 90 days, and it's $299 plus taxes and shipping for a 90-day trial. I think you're worth it, don't you?
An empowered life has no expiration date. We're all created to do incredible things, like conquer summits, catch big waves, and live our passions. As time goes on, our bodies begin to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy levels decline, sleep patterns shift, and recovery slows. But our bodies are masterpieces of design, holding the potential to bounce back better than ever. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and regenerative science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHKCU, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, which requires external light sources, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality, enhancing the body's flow of natural energy for improvements in strength, stamina, performance, and overall health and well-being, with the simplicity of an affordable, non-invasive, non-transdermal patch. As we age, levels of these life-enhancing elements, which are associated with wellness and longevity, begin to decline. LifeWave invested 10 years into stem cell research, which resulted in over 70 patents. X39 was born to bring to the public a product that could support wellness in an entirely new way, supporting the production of younger, healthier cells with wearable light technology. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. Harness your body's natural potential to maintain youthful energy and vitality, because life comes at you fast, but it doesn't have to pass you by. Live long, live well, live young. Be the light with LifeWave X39. LifeWave.